Plato is not African American. She's a white girl, white Caucasian girl, full enchilada white, blonde hair, white skin. But she was on Diff'rent Strokes, and for her, I think her parents were a little uncomfortable with her working with two black boys, Gary Coleman and Todd Bridges. But they let her do the show. She was all American white girl, full white, blonde hair, white skin. She was Mr. Drummond's daughter. Mr. Drummond and her were both white, and and the maid was white too. And they had to adjust to life with new people, with African American boys. It was an interracial show, where black and white people worked together. And I think she started dating Todd Bridges. They started dating during the course of the series, but they broke up. I think she got pregnant during the last season of the show. That's why she's not really in. She was kicked off the show, which is why she's not in season 7 or 8. She turned to a life of crime. She had a hard life. She turned to drugs and I think prostitution. I think she did a little bit of porn. I think she did a lot of weird stuff. She did armed robbery because she was desperate, and then she died of an overdose. So a lot of people keep saying it's a Diff'rent Strokes curse because Gary Coleman, Todd Bridges, and Dana Plato, all three of those kids' lives were messed up. They all had a hard life. And it's so weird because Diff'rent Strokes was such a successful sitcom. But if you watch Diff'rent Strokes, most of the episodes are about it's the kids in the show. The characters have problems. It's a very messed up show. All their lives were messed up. The guy who played Mr. Drummond didn't have a normal life. I never heard about him getting arrested. But Gary Coleman, Todd Bridges, and Dana Plato have been arrested. They had a hard life. They all seem to deal with some kind of abuse growing up, mental abuse, physical abuse, self harm, drugs, alcoholism. She died of an overdose. She had a 14-year-old son, and everything just went pretty much bad. And she went on the Howard Stern show, which was not good because Howard Stern he's a very nasty guy. He's very mean, very rude. I don't see why anybody would want to go on his show because he's very offensive. He's a Jewish man, and he just likes to pick on people that go on the show. He asks a lot of sexual questions, and Mr. Howard Stern asks people a lot of uncomfortable questions. He's very awkward and he doesn't really care about other people's feelings. There was an episode where Mr. T goes on this show and he makes Mr. T mad. I'll get to that one later on. But I think, and it's funny, the next day she committed, she died the next day after she went on his show. So her going on his show is the reason she died because it was a lot of abuse from the callers kept calling in and she was being harassed by the callers. Howard Stern was picking on her, making fun of her, and the other two people were making fun of her too, Robin, and it was just horrible. Artie, all these people that they were just picking on her all the time, picking on her. So she had to overdose the next day. Howard Stern said he feels guilty. He should because she wasn't mentally confident. She shouldn't have went on this show. She should have just not do any talk shows. But I think she did rehab for a while. That didn't work. She was arrested, and Todd Bridges wanted to help her, but he couldn't help her. So it's pretty sad. But that's pretty much it. Mr. J here, peace.